Good morning, my name is John Wilhelm and I am principal of Hamilton High School. On behalf of our superintendent, Janet Baker, and our Board of Education, I do want to welcome you to Hamilton High School and thank you for attending our spring community breakfast. We have a fantastic program in store for you today. Before I get started with the program, I do want to recognize our talented jazz ensemble under the direction of Patrick Naylor. Students, we appreciate the uplifting music during breakfast today. Thank you so much. As we start, let us honor our country with the presentation of our colors and the Pledge of Allegiance. Leading us in the pledge is junior Jessica Keeling.
Colors. Ready. Cut.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Colors. Ready. Cut. Left. Face. Outward. Arms. Outward. Arch.
Thank you, Jessica and cadets Thomas Good, Noah Witt, Kenneth Wombles, and Lydia Guerrero. As you can see, and you can be seated, please. As you can see, we're very proud of our National Junior ROTC program. Recently, they won the Region 3 championship and just got back from 4 days in Pensacola, Florida, where they represented Hamilton High School quite well at the Nationals for Naval Junior ROTC. I'd like to recognize board members who are in attendance today. Mr. Scott Kruger, our board president. Mr. Steve Israel, our board vice president. Is Dr. Stitzinger here? I didn't see him, but I thought he was coming. Okay. And Mr. Larry Bowling. So thank you to our board for attending today. I also want to acknowledge our superintendent, Mrs. Janet Baker, who is retiring after many, many years serving Hamilton City School District. She's done a wonderful job and had a tremendous impact not only on the students of the district, but also on the city of Hamilton and the staff as well. So thank you, Mrs. Baker, for all that you've meant to our district. And in that same vein, I also want to welcome Mr. Tony Orr, who will be our new superintendent. Mr. Orr is joining us from his school district, and he was kind enough to come down and meet and see this ceremony. So thank you, Mr. Orr, and welcome. Just this past weekend in our Fine Arts Department, we came together and had our spring musical, which was called Seussical. And I think you can tell from the decorations and from the candy and things like that we have a definite Seuss theme going on today. But we also come together to honor Nathaniel Lampley as our distinguished alumni. And we come to find out some of the places that Mr. Lampley has been and share some of the wisdom with our students. And that's really what we're in here to do. We want to impact our student learning. And as you sit at your tables with our students, these are senior students from the high school, Please take the time to get to know them. We'll have a question and answering portion a little bit later today, but we're very proud of our students and excited to see what kind of journeys they embark on in just a few short weeks when they will be graduating from Hamilton High School. One of the things we do at each one of these ceremonies is to pay tribute to our adopt-a-school partners. I would be remiss if I didn't say that without the sponsorship of our adopt-a-school sponsor, our group Financial Credit Union, this would not be possible. Eileen and Amy have been very instrumental in putting this ceremony together, and we thank our group for the breakfast that we all enjoyed today. So thank you very much, Eileen and Amy. Our group also has a credit union which our students can sign up for and begin the process of really understanding what financial literacy is. So they're very instrumental in our building. I also want to acknowledge another school partnership that we have, and to speak on that is Tyler Ballou. And Tyler Ballou is a product of the Junior Achievement Program at Hamilton High School, and Tyler is going to introduce a couple speakers here from Junior Achievement. Tyler?
Good morning, everybody. Can I just see a quick show of hands? Who in here has been a volunteer and taught a Junior Achievement class, or who has been a part of a Junior Achievement class as a student? Okay, so that's a really good showing. At this time, I would like to introduce Natasha Bryant from Junior Achievement. And for those of you that do not know, Junior Achievement is designed to inspire students to be successful in a global economy. And Natasha has been part of the Junior Achievement Board of Butler County for the last 4 years, and she's also taught in the classroom for the last 3 years. She is a major account manager for Office Depot and Office Max. So let's welcome Natasha.
Hello, everyone. First, let me say I have been coming to this breakfast for a number of years, and wow, it's gotten a lot bigger. So I'm so excited to see so many people here participating. Hamilton is one of the districts that I love to participate in because of this, because of the love and support that you give back to your schools, and I know that your students feel that. As a part of JA, I got to learn about the bells. As Tyler mentioned, I have been working with JA for a number of years now. JA gives me the opportunity to give back to a community where I live, where I work, where I play. Our purpose is to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in the global economy. We foster work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. I appreciate that Office Depot gives me the opportunity to come out and support Hamilton and other school districts that I work with, because I love working with the students and I love giving back. It doesn't take much of my time at all. It takes a few hours a week for 7 weeks, especially for the class that I do here. So it's not much time at all. And I learned from Tanisha a couple of weeks ago that I actually give back and they actually like what I do. So that makes me feel even better. Here at Hamilton High School, especially the CTE program, we provide a program called the JA Career Success Curriculum. It equips students with the tools and skills required to earn and keep a job in this high growth career industries. What we do is, like I said, we come out for seven weeks, and we work with the students on specific topics to keep them thinking about what they want to do. I'm learning from the students at my table. They already know what they want to do. They know that they're going to Xavier for nursing and marketing and Bethany in West Virginia or Virginia. So they know what they want to do, and we want to keep encouraging. We come in and we meet with the students starting their junior year, and what we do is we teach the 4 C's, the critical thinking, the communication, the collaboration, and creativity. We know that these skills are needed in today's workforce. The students apply the critical thinking skills and creativity to solve problems in real life scenarios. The students role play, and they understand conflict management because of the role plays that we introduce them to. We also introduce them to team building. We introduce them to working with students that they might not normally work with. We help the students realize that each and every day, the things that they do is creating a personal brand for themselves that will follow them from high school through their college career and into their career in the work industry. We provide them with job hunting tools and introduce them to resume, cover letter, and interview do's and don'ts. We do a lot to encourage the students to begin to take charge of their lives early on, so that whatever direction or whatever path they want to take, they can take it and feel good and confident about what they do. This year, this past year alone, we've impacted in this district only more than 200 students. We've put in more than 1,500 community hours, and we would love it if all of you would think about volunteering with us. It's the most fun thing that you'll ever do. For me, to see my students beyond the high school years after I've taught them is invaluable. When I can see them in Kroger and they run up to me and hug me, I have to think for a second who this student is, because I've taught so many. But it's a great experience, and even more to have that parent step to you and say, you had an impact on my child, it makes a difference. So if you want to help us keep giving back to the community here in Hamilton, I highly recommend that you reach out to us and you volunteer. It's an hour a week for 7 weeks. No time. You can't put a price on that time, and we would really like your help. So thank you so much for allowing me to come into your district and participate and be more than just, a vendor, because I know that I work with you on that level too, but I want to be so much more. So thank you for your time, and thank you for making this an even bigger program. I love it, and we'll miss you.
Thank you, Natasha. Last school year, JA actually had an impact on over 4.5 million students in the United States in more than 197 classrooms, grades K through 12. One of those students that has benefited greatly from JA is Tanisha. And Tanisha is a member of our Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy, as well as our Teacher Academy program at Hamilton High School. She has a 3.682 GPA, and she has applied to participate in Miami University's Summer Scholars Program. Tanisha plans on attending a 4-year college to study math and statistics. Please welcome Tanisha Holmes.
Hi, my name is Tanisha Holmes, and today I'm just going to talk about different things we did in Junior Achievement. So, first off, in Junior Achievement, we did different scenarios of problem solving, and we had to solve them using the right steps. We did a skit where we had a conflict and we had to work it out to work on our conflict management successfully. We prioritize different things in our life, so like we can know what's more important, what we need to spend more money on, what we need to spend less money on, and just different things like that. We acted out job interviews. We even went on the BSL.gov just to see different jobs and different outlooks to see if it would be a good field for us to go into. In Junior Achievement, I learned how to problem solve. I learned how to manage conflict successfully, which is something I needed a lot of help on. I obtained information about how to successfully work with others, like how Miss Natasha was saying, working with students that we have never worked with before. They really helped us with that, so we could reach out there and get to the other students and help them out. And most importantly, I learned how to get through interviews. That was a big thing I needed help with. Junior Achievement is so vital to Hamilton High School. What people don't understand is we don't know these things. We don't know how to manage conflict. We don't know how to problem solve, or we don't even know how to get through an interview. Without Junior Achievement, we wouldn't learn it. The impact that Junior Achievement has on HHS is indescribable. Junior Achievement changes our life. Just think about it. We're 15, 16, and 17, and we have no idea how to get a job. And without going through the Junior Achievement program, we wouldn't know how to. But because we do, we know what website to go through, we know how to get through the interview, and just all the other different steps that we need to get through it. Junior Achievement just gives students a whole new outlook and attitude. So the Junior Achievement HHS collaboration did and will continue to help students further in life.
Good morning, I'm Jana Lewis. I'm an assistant principal here, and I have the distinct privilege of introducing you to our featured speaker, Mr. Nathaniel Lampley, Jr., Esquire. Prior to doing that, I think we should give Tanisha a round of applause. It is so difficult. I think we all understand how difficult it is, just as adults, to stand up here in front of our peers, but as a student, nice job, Tanisha. Very nice job. Without further ado, Mr. Nathaniel Lampley, Jr., Esquire. He is a native of Hamilton, Ohio. graduated from Hamilton High School in 1981 in the top 1% of his class with a 3.95 grade point average. He received an academic scholarship from the University of Dayton, where he graduated with honors in 1985. He earned additional money for college working as a laborer at the Beckett Paper Company when he was on summer breaks. He received a full scholarship from the University of Cincinnati College of Law, from which he graduated with honors in 1988. While in law school, Mr. Lampley worked as a legal intern at the Butler County Prosecutor's Office. He currently serves as the managing partner of the Cincinnati office of Voorhees, Sater, Seymour & Pease, LLP, a full-service law firm with nearly 400 lawyers and offices in 7 U.S. cities. Mr. Lampley's practice includes complex litigation, employment litigation, commercial litigation, and wrongful death litigation. He has experience handling class actions, dissenting shareholder suits, products liability, and mass tort cases. He also developed a sports law practice, having negotiated over 80 contracts with NFL teams. Among his civic activities and community service, Mr. Lampley has served on the boards of the Cincinnati Black Ambassadors, the Black Lawyers Association of Cincinnati, the Christ Hospital Sports Medicine Institute, Downtown Cincinnati Incorporation, Volunteer Lawyers for the Poor, the University of Cincinnati College of Law Board of Visitors, and the University of Cincinnati Alumni Association. He has participated in Leadership Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Academy of Leadership for Lawyers, CALL, and the United Way Volunteers Leaders Development Program. He also delivered the commencement address at Millett Hall for Hamilton High School's graduating classes of 2002 and 2013. Mr. Lampley has been honored in the Cincinnati Business Courier's 40 Under 40, Who's Who in Black Cincinnati, and has been recognized as an Ohio Super Lawyer in Employment Litigation every year since 2004. He is the son of Nathaniel Lampley Sr. and the late Marina Lampley. He has been married to Paula Davis Lampley since 1992. They have 2 children, Nathaniel III, Trey, a freshman at Washington University in St. Louis, and Hunter, a junior at St. Xavier High School. Please welcome with me Mr. Nathaniel Lampley, Jr.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wilhelm, members of the board, visitors, friends, students, parents. I can't begin to express the profound pleasure it is to be here and to be invited back home. A lot of great things have happened to me and for me since I've graduated from Hamilton High School in 1981. I can remember one of my first cases as a lawyer. I was asked to represent a young man who was charged with shoplifting at a grocery store. He was going to plead guilty. We were in court and I stood with him. The judge went right at him. He said, "Mr. Smith," who was the defendant, "what did you steal?" Mr. Smith said, "A can of peaches." The judge said, "Well, why did you steal them?" Mr. Smith said, "Because I was hungry and I didn't have any money." The judge said, "How many peaches were in that can?" Mr. Smith said, 6. So the judge said, "I'm inclined to sentence you to 1 day in jail for every peach that was in that can." 1 day for every peach. Before he could drop the gavel, Mr. Smith's wife, who was in the courtroom with us, stood up and said, "Your Honor, Your Honor, may I be heard? I am the defendant's wife." The judge said, "Sure, please speak." The woman stood up and said, "He also stole a can of peas." It was the last pro bono criminal case that I've ever handled. But I understand the importance of days like today. I really do. And I'm privileged to be a part of it. I've been asked to visit with you on the topic, "Oh, the places you'll go." And I don't know who selected that topic, but you could not have picked a better topic for me. That book by Dr. Seuss resonates with me on so many levels. I believe it was the last book he published in 1990. My first son was born in 1995, in December of 1995. By January of 1996, my wife had purchased the entire series of Dr. Seuss books, from Cat in the Hat to One Fish, Two Fish to Yertle the Turtle. We had everything. The wonderful thing about Dr. Seuss, and the great thing about his books, is that he managed to capture, and the books exemplified, the dignity of simplicity. Oh, the places you'll go was no exception, and the message was simple. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you get to decide the places you'll go. I hope that the students at Hamilton High School understand the simple message in that book, and the message is clear. You determine who you will be. You determine the places that you will go. And when Dr. Seuss talks about the places that you'll go, I don't believe he's talking about places like Florida, where you can visit with Wiz Khalifa. I don't believe that those are the places that he's talking about. And the question often arises, how do we get to these places? How do we get there? We decide to go somewhere. How do we get there? By plane, by train, by automobile? I don't believe those are the kinds of vehicles that Dr. Seuss is referring to. But I honestly believe that every student in this room and every person in this room has the tools and the vehicles to get to these great places. The best way for me to explain that to you, why I really believe that, is to give you an example of something that happened to me when I was a young student in the Hamilton City School District. For 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, I attended Roosevelt Junior High School, home of the mighty Mustangs. Every time I drive by that building that used to house Roosevelt on 12th Street, I get chills. I get chills when I think about how much I learned, how great the teachers were, and how much that school and the experiences that I had are a part of who I am today in shaping my outlook on life. We had great teachers. We also had great administrators. There was a room called the Mod Room. The Mod Room was staffed by 3 gentlemen known as the Mod Squad, after the 70s series of the same name. It was Mr. Brown, Mr. Churchman, and Mr. Birch, I believe. But of all of my memories of Roosevelt, the one that is most remarkable to me took place when I was in 8th grade, my 8th grade English class, my homeroom, taught by Mrs. Roseanne Post, who I believe is here today. Mrs. Post would decorate her classroom with pictures, with posters, with poems and sayings and quips and quotes. And the one picture that was remarkable to me was a picture of a turtle. Underneath the picture of that turtle was the following simple caption: "A turtle only moves by sticking out his neck." A turtle only moves by sticking out his neck. The parable to anyone who looks at that poster would urge you to reach out beyond your comfort zone, challenge yourself, and try new things. If you read that poster, I think that's what you were supposed to get. And when I was in the 8th grade, I was determined to do just that. How would I do it? The school newspaper at Roosevelt Junior High School was Teddy News. Theodore Roosevelt Junior High School, Teddy News. I thought that was a brilliant name. I still do. I was a big sports fan. I was determined to be the sports editor, and I saw Dirk Allen, who used to be the sports editor of the Journal News. I was determined to be the sports editor of the Teddy News. The problem is, I had never drafted or presented any article of any kind for any newspaper, not to mention never contributing to the Teddy News. The faculty advisor for the Teddy News, the publisher, the editor-in-chief, was none other than Mrs. Roseanne Post. So I decided to meet with Mrs. Post and ask if I could be the sports editor of the Teddy News. I met with Mrs. Post and I said, I'd like to be the sports editor. I think I'd be good at it. Mrs. Post was not smiling. And she looked at me, and I think she was looking at me over her glasses, and she said, Mr. Lampley, you have never submitted an article for the Teddy News. Why is it that you think you deserve to be sports editor? I wanted to be respectful, and I chose my words carefully. And I said, Mrs. Post, I didn't say I deserved it. I said, I think I'd like to do it, and I think I'd be good at it. Mrs. Post sent me away. But she called me back into her office a couple days later, and she said to me, I've thought about this, and even though you've never submitted an article, I'm going to allow you to serve as the sports editor because you're reaching out. So in the 9th grade, I was the sports editor for the Teddy News, and I did everything I could. I had feature articles, I had previews, I had reviews, I had interviews with coaches and players. At the end of the year at Roosevelt Junior High School, we had a big ceremony for the graduating 9th graders. The 9th graders were going off to high school. We had a big auditorium in Roosevelt, and all the students and faculty and everybody was there. During that assembly, Mrs. Post called me up to the stage, and she put her arm around me, and she said to me, and she said to the entire school, that was my world. Roosevelt was my world at that time. She said, I have never given an award to any sports editor of this paper. But not only is Nate Lampley the best sports editor of the Teddy News, he is the best editor of any kind in the history of the Teddy News. Imagine the impact on a 9th grader when you infuse that kind of confidence in him. I would like for Mrs. Roseanne Post to stand and be recognized. You may ask, what does any of this have to do with the places that you'll go? I think it has something to do with it because when I was in the 8th grade or 9th grade, I had an epiphany. Now, I don't know that that was ever a vocabulary word that I saw on the board in the 8th or 9th grade. I don't know that I knew what an epiphany was when I was in the 8th or 9th grade, but I'm convinced that I had one. I think I realized or recognized, or I woke up and said to myself, maybe if I reach out beyond my comfort zone and try some new things and take some risks and challenge myself, then I increase the scope of potential greatness that I might experience. Take some risk. And I'm not talking about risks that involve bungee jumping or drag racing or doing drugs or anything like that. I'm talking about challenging yourself to be the best that you can be, even if you're not comfortable doing it in the beginning. And I can tell you, when I was in the 8th or 9th grade, I never dreamt that I would be the person that I am today. I never dreamt that I would be the managing partner of a large office of a national corporate law firm. I don't even think I had the capacity to dream that big. But here is what I want to say to each of the students here today, and everyone else for that matter. You don't know. I don't believe any student who's 17 or 18 years old knows the capacity of what you are capable of doing and the greatness that is within your reach. There is nothing that you can't do, and I don't even know that you can understand what that really means. But here is what I urge you to do. I urge you to think about your Teddy News sports editor moment. I want you to think about a situation where you doubted yourself and you weren't sure, and other people weren't sure and they doubted you. But you were given an opportunity and you made the most of it. And you exceeded not only your expectations, but the expectations of others. And I want you to harvest that and bottle it up and draw upon it and use it to catapult you to do great things. And you say, what great things are you talking about? And that's the beauty of this, because you're on your own and you know what you know, and you decide the places you'll go. I'm humbled and I'm gratified to be here. I thank you for inviting me back. God bless you all.
Wow. I'm ready to run through a wall, I think, after that one. Thank you very much. That was very inspirational. Good morning. My name is Jessie Weisbrod. I'm one of the assistant principals here at Hamilton High School. I would like to present our distinguished guests, Superintendent Mrs. Janet Baker, and our featured guest speaker, Mr. Nate Lampley, with Dr. Seuss copies of Oh, the Places You Will Go books, signed by our guests and students with well wishes this morning. Mrs. Baker, I would like, on behalf of Hamilton High School, to personally thank you for your years of service to our district and our community. Mr. Lampley, you are by far one of the most inspirational speakers I have ever had the pleasure of listening to. Both of you, thank you so much for serving as such strong, positive role models to all of us.
Once again, I want to thank Mrs. Baker for everything she has done for the Hamilton City School District, and also thank Mr. Lampley for a tremendous speech and a tremendous impact that he continues to have on Hamilton High School and our students to this day. And students, I hope you enjoyed your time and were able to learn from the adults in the room. And to the adults, we value the impact that you have on our community, and welcome you anytime to Hamilton High School to help us drive student learning. And if there's anything that I can do to help that out, or anything that you need from me or my assistant principals, all you have to do is ask. But thank you so much for your time today, and we'll see you next fall. Thanks.
He has